How we doing, YouTube? Steve here. It is 9:23 Monday night. Just got done with dinner time and the shower and got everything fed and just getting ready to go to bed. About 7 o'clock. I'll do a video for morning. I got a few minutes here. It won't take too long. I would whip out some kind of gibberish to see what's happening. But I'm rubbing the dog right here. My dog is right here. If you see my hand, that's what I'm doing. She hears me talking, so she thinks she needs to be involved in the conversation. She was just laying there doing nothing. She stayed in the house all day today. She had to stay out later last night than she wanted to, and I finally let her in. Then she didn't want to go out, so she had to spend about 10, 11, 12 hours in the house today. So now, when I was getting ready to shut down for nighttime, she scurried her way right back into the house. She's not taking any chances tonight. She's got her own couch that she sleeps on. So, and she'd much rather sleep on that than one of her several spots that she has out in the yard that she likes to sleep. She's up most of the night running around. But anyway, I'm off topic. I'm rambling. Squirrel, nut. The title of this, I think the title of this is going to be, I'm not sure what I'll name it, but the gist of it is, Kamala Harris doesn't have to tell you what her plans are. And you're a racist if you ask her, or a misogynist, either one, or both. You could be both. I mean, granted, she had much different positions. Let me rephrase that differently. She had positions when she ran in 2019. It's unclear if those are still her positions or not. Now, I would give her a little bit of grace on this. She was Joe Biden's vice president. She was not the president. Granted, we don't really know who's running the country, but so maybe it was her the whole time, but we don't know that. But so her policy positions would have to set back seat. She just hit the table. Her policy positions would have to take back seat to his policy position because he's the president. But now that she's running, one would think that she would have to say what she believed in or what she hoped, or what direction she was hoping to take the country if she was to win. But she doesn't seem to have to. There was a girl on Bill Maher this weekend that somebody was saying, and the fellow that was saying it was not really a conservative, but was saying that he was saying that she should have to say, well, do interviews, hard interviews, and say what her positions were. And she said, you live in Nirvana, and let me know who your realtor is, and I'll come live next to you. Like, it's ludicrous to even expect her to say what her positions are. And the reason they come up with it, the way they can justify this, the press and the people on the left, is that Donald Trump is such a threat that no matter what Kamala does, she's going to be better than him. So whatever it takes to beat him, it doesn't really matter. As long as she wins, everything will be fine. And for them, it probably will be. Because let's be honest. Do you think an illegal immigrant is going to take a reporter's job or one of those commentators that are on CNN or MSNBC? Probably not. Now, black and brown people across the country and truck drivers, migrants will take their jobs, but the press and the left don't really care about them. So, they're not going to force Kamala to say that she's anything. Because let me rephrase that. Many of the left's positions really only support the upper 10% of the wealth in this country. It's a myth that the Republican Party is the party of the rich. It used to be. Back in the 60s, maybe even into the 70s, you could make that argument. Now, It's not. The the Democratic Party is the party of the very rich and the very poor. And the Republican Party is, it seems to be the party of the all that middle. Now, having said that, the leadership of the Republican Party really doesn't want to be the the group representing that big middle. The leadership of the Republican Party is quite happy with the wealthy, but they need the middle to get elected. The Democrats also need the middle to get elected. So they'll say whatever they have to say to get that vote and then just not do it after they get in. Pander, whatever they have to say. Lie. Now, the Republican Party does that as well. So they'll say their lies are, we're going to balance the budget, we're going to force this government to get smaller, we're going to cut regulation, and then they get in and they spend just as much money as the Democrats. The Democrats will say, we're going to sock it to those evil rich and make them pay their fair share, and then when they get in, they don't do it because the rich are all their supporters. So they both lie to us in that respect. But Kamala is not going to tell you what she wants to do. She's not going to say that she supports mandatory gun buybacks. She'll go on Oprah and say that she's a gun owner. Maybe, maybe not. That's true. That she's a gun owner. That's what she's going to say. She's going to say, I'm for fracking. I'm absolutely for fracking because she needs votes in Pennsylvania. As soon as she wins, she'll jet over to Davos or Europe for some climate summit and fracking will be out. Existential threat. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was supposed to be. Biological boys playing in girls' sports. Those stories that you heard you haven't heard much of them for the last few months. They've kept them pretty quiet, but boy athletes playing in girls' sports and the girls getting injured. A volleyball player where their whole nose and everything broke because the guy hit her so hard, the ball so hard, it broke her all this right in here. You're not going to hear anything about that. Girls losing scholarships, you're not going to hear anything about that. But that's what their position is. They support all that. If you think that your child really doesn't need to transition to another sex, that's not your decision to make. That's the government's decision to make. And if there's anything that the Democratic Party is aligned with, two things, but three things. One, the teachers union. Two, the abortion cult. And three, the trans community. And they will never, ever go against the trans community. So if the trans community wants your child to transition, they will just take that child right from the parent, and that's what they're going to do. And before you say, oh, they won't do that, that's Governor Walz's policy in Minnesota. He said that Minnesota is a sanctuary state, and if you're 10 years old and you think that you're not happy in your body, even though it might be depression, even though it might be, who knows what it might be, maybe you're just gay, who knows? Nope, we'll give you, we'll chemically castrate you, no problem. We'll take you from your parents, and we'll do that in Pennsylvania. That's their position. Anyway, we're at 9 minutes. More political rants to come. We're about 48 days from the election, and I'm not saying that my spouting off is going to change anybody's opinion. Might alienate people probably, but I'm going to say what I have to say, and if you don't like it, you don't have to like it, but hopefully we can find some common ground somewhere in the middle. And I've got almost as many rants about the Republican Party as I do the Democrat Party. Not quite, but almost. And more of them to come as well. So God bless everybody. We'll talk again soon.